This boat is punching, guys. Wait until you see what they've fitted into 45 feet. Welcome to the mass market of sports cruisers in Sydney, guys. This size of boat will fit in any marina, any berth, and it's really going to be easy to operate for your social day boat scene. But it's a busy part of the market. You have a few choices. So where does this 45 Gran Turismo sit in between some of the competition, and how's it going to work for your boat life? Come on, let's get cracking right now. Dan Jones is my name. G'day. You're watching Dan's Boat Life. Subscribe if you haven't already. So we'll start out here on the back of the boat, and we will take this for a drive. That's a separate video to this. So if you are really interested in this particular vessel, keep watching. I'll link to that at the end of the video. She's actually not 45 feet. I was lying. She's more like 48 and a half feet, but for some reason they've called it the 45. And she is the biggest in the Gran Turismo range, starting at 32, which we've already tested before. So have a look at what we're standing on right now. This is the drop-down swim platform. It's an option, and you see these things right here. This facilitates, if you wish, the storage of a dinghy, but you do not need to keep that here. These slats just here allow air to pass through when the waves, like in some exposed anchorages, would stop it and then cause some slap, slap, slap. Just in here, they have managed to get a dinghy garage. So this will actually come up, and depending on the season, I reckon you could decide to either store your dinghy in here, or if it's midsummer and you know you're going to be using it all the time, you might store it out here and have all your other toys in here, because you can put up to like a 2.8 meter tender, so decent enough size, but all your other toys will go in there quite well. So I love the functionality of this, because it's still keeping the boats lined, it's sexy, and it's super practical, which we'll get to in a second because of the doors. So I just had to point out the Barbie. Love that spot. That's really good. You can put it inside, but I think for our climate, having it out the back here, let all the smells go out that way and keep everything clean. You can have a couple of drink holders. It's it's an electric Barbie, because we have a gen set on this one. And then on top, quite clearly, it's the sun lounge. I'll just jump on that for perspective. So you got a little bit of a backrest just here on an angle, and then you can probably get 4 people across the back. And we have a huge amount of sun protection. So you probably can see this now. No plastic clears. Remember all those boats you've had in the past, and it's such a pain to set them up for the day or pack them down at the end of the day. Well, above me here is electrically operated glass window that just comes up, and then there's this metal hatch that goes out and in to secure it in place when it's stowed, and then you just have a door. That's it. That is a real game changer compared to many boats that we would have been used to on Sydney Harbour in the past, which would have had huge big clears and plastic, and let's face it, nobody has time for that anymore. So you could just have one cover over this. You might even be able to just whip these cushions off and leave them inside if you choose, and you're ready to rock and roll for the day. So I really, really like that. We'll go through the interior before we go across the foredeck. We have our swim ladder just here. This is the operation of the garage, so up, down, inside there, and this is our operation of the swim platform. That's hydraulic. Through this hatch here, we get into the engine bay. We're running the IPSs. You can also do Z drive, so that's an option up to you. You can go up port or starboard on this boat, and it's center line cabin, so it's not an offset like you see on some models. You have equal amount of space on either side. Manual bilge pump just there. So next thing I want to point out, the floor, it's all teak. It's just lovely teak, and I like this color caulking. I think the black caulking in here would not really be quite the right vibe. I'm not sure if that's a personal choice of the owner or not, but it's a good look. And you get welcomed into this large big saloon area, and I think this is what people are you know, utilising the most for the sports cruiser day boat scene. Because look at what we've achieved just here. We've all got views across the water. Whether we're driving underway or at rest, we can all communicate. And depending on what the weather's doing, Sydney winters, well, it is winter right now, it's quite lovely, but stinking hot summers, whether it's here, Dubai or Miami, you could just run the air conditioning. So that's a super big benefit. Or on this sort of temperature, get the airflow from the opening windows on either side and that massive sunroof just there, which is great for this time of the year. But in summer, we obviously wouldn't have that open because we'd be burning our faces off. So that's when you'd close it a little bit, maybe crack it a tiny bit and then run the AC if you need. But just have a look at this table. So Sunday lunch on the water is what it's all about. You can have the whole family seated around this proper size table. You could probably have 6 people all with an individual table setting and enjoying themselves for lunch. And when that's quite heavy, when that's stowed, that's actually a bit of a grab handle and a drink holder as well. So that's kind of cool. Underneath my bum, just here, is actually dedicated life raft storage, just there. What else did I see? I think it was air conditioning in the corner. And then I see the header tank for the windscreen wiper washer and just storage underneath us just there. And then across the styling wise, you know, the pillars going up, we have stereo on either side. That looks like a gas sniffer. Then we've got down lights. What do you call this? Graphite? Carbon? I don't know. But it's got that carbony graphite type look in terms of a styling sense on the inside. On the port side here, we've got, this would be an option. So we've got the Barbie out the back. I suspect you could probably option to put the Barbie in here as well, if you choose, or maybe that's the standard and they optioned it out the back there. We got a little tap just here, and then this becomes a nice little serving place if we just picked up food and we weren't preparing it. But behind me here, it's not installed because it's an Aussie TV's going in, but that's where one of the TVs goes, and there's another one downstairs as well. And then in here, there's many fridges, but you have an optional fridge in here. We've got this as storage at the moment. The reason you can tell that is because it's got the ventilation just in there, and this is just a proper size pull-out bin just there. And then let's come forward, because there's the fridge for up here. Boom, boom. So that's one there. Possibility of another one further aft. Your stereo control just there. That's a little bit annoying because you can't use it from the helm. We'll just have another look when we get there. But I guess you're always going to have friends with you on a boat like this. These windows are sliding windows. Yep, that's fine. And as I said, the sunroof is massive. So right now, this time of year here in Australia, that's fine. Middle of summer, maybe not so much. Use the air conditioning, it has it. But I'm just going to sit down at the helm. So adjustable helm chair, adjustable wheel as well, and a little footrest for short blokes. If you were standing, okay, you're going to have this much space. And for me at 5'7", I've got no hindrance to my visibility. If you were a big guy standing, you might have a hindrance with this just here. But as you'll see in the test drive, if you're interested, this boat does not raise its bow sufficiently that it requires you to stand up. I would actually be so comfortable driving this thing from the seated position 99% of the time. I just had zero need to feel like I had to stand up today during the drive, going through waves and doing maneuvers. So I've got an air conditioning outlet. Can you see that from there, Mika? I've got an air conditioning outlet behind me here, got a couple of drink holders here, dedicated phone charging and storage area. You can put a few things here, and there's your USB charging just there. That's the IPS joystick. This is all very natural and to hand, having the throttle here, IPS, zip wake there. This is the style of boat that you would just leave the zip wake on auto. I don't really see the need to doing any manual operation, but you do you. The VHF, slightly annoying position, mounting it there because you bang it with your knee. So I would actually just put it there. That's a simple solution. So it is what it is. The bow thruster, logical place forward just there. And then we have our engine diagnostics for port and starboard in the logical places on either side of the wheel. Ignition and electronic start-stop as you would expect. New buttons, I haven't seen this design before, but they're just switches doing everything from your lights, your bilge pumps, your sunroof operation up here, anchor up and down, even though you can do it at the bow. Windscreen wipers, individual and wash are all done on the starboard bank. Then we have a couple of AC outlets here. So that's one here, two more here, and facility for one large Garmin display, center mounted. Good angle because I could see that all day even with the glary sun, so that was okay. And then the dark colors forward don't reflect in my face either, so that's perfectly all right as well. Plastimo compass just there. Pay attention, all designs of sport cruisers with these sloping windows will get a little bit hot forward of that, so the solution is just pop the sunroof at the beginning of the day to let the heat out before you get going. A couple of drink holders. Actually, there's a lot of drink holders around the place because we've got four there, we've got four more out the back, and I saw more in the bow, so nobody's struggling to place a drink down. We've got fuel, emergency shut-off and fire deployment just in between these two seats, and these are adjustable seats, so I think it's, yeah, see that? Boom, boom. And double bolster. That's okay because the skipper has their own chair, and then you've got your navigator and guest or passenger just there. I don't see any issues with that whatsoever. So I think I've covered all that. Nice styling. This is a window downstairs, and we did come up one little step just before we got to the helm. Other than that, it's all on the one level. Really nice. Like if you've got kids, dogs, that sort of thing, having just the one level, you just have less scenarios or situations for little people to fall over and you know, just hurt themselves. So you go that way and look down to me, Mika, and let's show everyone. This is like the earlier model Gran Turismos that has these big sliding door here, and then it closes like that. Actually, one of my customers, when I used to sell boats, drove his Gran Turismo, the earlier model to this, from Sydney to Hobart. 600 nautical miles across Bass Strait. Yes, the Bass Strait that gets the 100-foot waves. He didn't do it on a day with 100 feet waves, but whilst I'm saying this is a day boat, people do crazy things with them too. So, and yeah, he made it fine. He had a good trip, and then he called me from Tasmania and said he's having the best time of his life. So, this door is held open with magnets, and then it closes and attaches to this one when it closes like so. And then you come down like a curved stairway with a grab handle, leather wrapped, just here and here into the saloon. So come down because you have the option, I'll just keep that closed for now, to have 2 cabins or 3 cabins. So if you went for the 3 cabins, this area here would be a wall, and then you'd be going into a door to 2 bunk beds, essentially. So if you've got extra kids or the kids want to bring their mates, go for that layout. And if you're just a 4-person family or a couple, maybe just consider the 2 cabin. And this is what you have, because having the option for people to come down, get out of the sun, sit down here and do their own thing is quite nice. Even on a cold evening, you may just choose it's a bit cozier to come down here and eat dinner rather than upstairs, because we've got beautiful views out through this window. Same again over the galley. We've got this fixed table, which is good enough for a couple of people. And underneath me is deep storage. So it's the kind of thing you might use as more longer term storage, because you do have to pull the cushions up, but it's about yay deep and this wide under this cushion, for example. So you will get large items in there if you're going on a bit of a holiday. These ones are more practical for just day-to-day storage for all your other bits and pieces. You might put some books and things on there and there. And this boat's getting a TV mounted here. We see the AV cables ready to go in, but it's brand new. Should just come off the ship, so that's not been done yet. But this is the galley. So I'm 5'7". That's probably, would you say that's a foot above my head, Mika? So that's, 6 foot something people will stand in here, no problems. You'll have more headroom just here, but, easily over 6 foot overall. We have, what is that? Is that a microwave?
Convection microwave.
Convection microwave. Oh, right, okay. That's fancy. All right, not seen one of them before. That's good having that so then it won't open in the ocean. And twin sinks, twin stainless sinks, can you see that? Hot and cold tap, obviously. We're doing electric cooking because we have the Jenny. That's a 2-burner Kenyan just there. And you can vent via this one here. And we have AC coming out just here so we can control all of this. We've got the dishwasher. I'm a big fan of dishwashers on boats. So that's a little small drawer washer. That's cool there. And then we've got the bin. So we have the one bin up there, second bin just here with the little cutlery drawer that pulls out here. And then it's just some of the manuals for the boat in there at the moment, but you would obviously use that as pantry storage. And then we have freezer, regular fridge, and fridge, freezer just there. And I like how the colours have gone to this, from this brown timber, white, and this is a Corian. This must be Corian, but it's got a bit of a marble look to it. So that's quite nice. I think that's cool. Just pay attention to the one little step up here. That's just going to be factoring the design of the hull, which is probably why they had to do that. At the moment, it's not really bothering me. I don't think you're going to trip on it, so it's not a problem. So let's go forward into the guest accommodation. Before we do that, I want to show you the dayhead. 2 toilets in this boat. So pay attention, separate shower. So all of you thinking or about treating a boat like this as a alternative to a beach house, which it really is, that's key to some of your success. So the floor here is all teaked as what we saw. It's the same teak as what we saw up on deck, and you've got a solid shower screen just behind one of these little flip up thingamajiggies that come across and enclose this whole area. So this will all stay dry, and this is your wet area, and then that will give you some extra height. Once again, not as much as in the galley, but we've got that much above my 5'7" height just there. Big fixed mirror with some downlights, nice little vanity storage, proper toilet, holding tank, and some ventilation through the opening window as well. So that's all good. So you go this way, and then I'll go forward. So this is going to be the VIP. Now, Mika, you might need to go that way. And then because this door, I think, swings out. There we go. Now, this is kind of cool. You're certainly, as the guests, going to be feeling pretty good getting this cabin because it's huge. You can sit up in bed. You've got a forward-facing escape hatch, which operates as a nice natural ventilation, 2 windows for cross breeze on either side, and it can be a boys' weekend or a girls' weekend, and you can have individual singles if you want, or if it's a couples' weekend, close them together and it becomes a double. So you have to use some B-roll for that, but it is possible, and that's a kind of sensible way of doing things. I've got the reading lights on both sides, got places for your phones, got 12 volt and 240 volt charging for phones, and then on either side we have these little lockers. So just have a look at this one. So we've got some shelves there. You do all your beach clothes and things in there. Same again on this side, but then both of you are sharing the hanging space just there. And let's face it, you're only going to be going out for a couple of nights, so that's perfectly adequate. Underneath me, I'll just have a quick look. We've got access to the bow thruster, so just in there, bow thruster battery and unit, and underneath the floor, just here, we've got those are the bow thruster batteries. That must be the bow thruster battery just there. Air conditioning unit just there, or outlet, I should say. And you do have an air conditioning control in this cabin, so you can set the temperature for this cabin. So let's make our way aft. And this is the master. So you go through this door here, and we do have our own private access this time, as opposed to not having the private access in the other one. And I'll just try and put this into perspective for you. This is really good. So now we're essentially centre mounted in the boat, because we go through this bulkhead, we're into the engine bay. So it's one of the most stable parts of the boat, so you could still sleep in here underway quite comfortably. You have these awesome windows with blinds. You've just got blinds that drop down on either side, 2 small hatches for ventilation. Got these fancy lights just here. I'm not sure if they do enough light for reading. Anyway, got speakers on the roof, got down lights on either side. We've got this design which follows the hull, but also serves as storage on both sides. So 1, 2, 3, 4, like so. So that's great. So if you've got those, little duffel bags that you've filled up for the weekend, you might jump on board the boat, take out your towels, take out all your bits and pieces, put them in the lockers, and then put your empty soft bags in here, and that's a good place for them to store and stay out of the way. Got a stereo control, air conditioning just up on this bulkhead here. Got hanging just in here. Can you see that, Mika? So I've got my bags in there at the moment, but that's just in there. I don't think anything is in there. I think that could just be technical access. But let's go and have a look at the head. Before I get there, I'll quickly open up. I like to get into the floor whenever I can, so I can see just all sorts of piping. I saw some raw water pickups, and I'm pretty sure these would be for the motors. Just here, we'll just open that up quickly. They look like raw water pickups for the motor. I'm guessing that one there is for the air con as well. So that's easy to access at least. And you can check your filter. Boom, boom. And this is lovely. So we're going in once again onto the teak floor, second separate shower. How good's that? So everybody's got their own space and they can get ready for the day, then come out into the main part of the boat, all sorted. So we've got some storage in there for the loo roll holder. I think, oh my God, that one opens too. So you can do a little bit more storage in there, hot and cold, big fixed mirror. I like how the charging is up high, not down low. So in case of any splash, it's not going to interfere with safety wise. We've got some ventilation there and more storage. So this one's got a little bit more than the other one. And then your soap and your toothbrush holders just there. Electric toilet operation. So flush with water or flush only is the way it works. So I think I've covered everything there. I see another gas sniffer just there. So I assume that's for CO2 safety. And pay attention to these windows above us. So on a winter's day, they are going to let lots of light in and it's going to be quite nice. So let's head up and we'll walk around the foredeck before I'm going to invite you guys to come with me for a drive. And we'll also have a look in the engine bay. So let's go up the port side because they're the same on either side. Courtesy lights. I do like the styling of the new Gran Turismo compared to the old ones. You have this carbony, graphite, whatever you call it, look carried from here to here. I've just been looking at it from the drone for the last 2 hours, zooming around the harbour. It just looks quite cool. It's quite striking, and it would make you feel good if you're an owner. So just looking at the construction up here, we can see the tracks for the sunroof, for the world's biggest sunroof. I like the fact that it's not glass. Again, for our country, we don't need glass so much, so it's good to have the option to knock out that sun. Got the radar on the radar mast. That's an omnidirectional TV antenna, the UFO looking thing. Horn, it does work. We just scared all the girls on the beach before. And then we've got VHF aerials, 2 of them, so they look cool just there. And then we've got cleats wise, midships cleats here. We have some cleats aft as well. They've all got rope protectors on them as well. And then welcome to the bow. I'm just going to interrupt Libby's book reading session because, sorry, but isn't this lovely? Say hello, Libby. She hasn't got a microphone on, guys, so we'll just leave her alone. But that's great. So the sun protection, which we need here, just folds away. It's a 2-second job. I'll cut to some B-roll. And then you have that backrest that just folds up from its current position. So at the end of the day, packing this boat up is just one cover over this sun lounge and one more cover over the back lounge. That's it. You can leave, go and do something else. That's a huge advantage for a boat of this style because it didn't used to be like that. So let's just have a look in here. Boom. So a huge big anchor locker. Now I see another use to this anchor locker. We're going chain to row, which is a Lumar windlass. We've got the quick control so we can do it from up the bow here as well. And we have the safety just there. Gal chain, gal anchor, stainless bow roller, but I would store fenders in here because keep it simple. Keep at least 4 fenders in there and maybe a couple more in your garage down the back of the boat so you don't have to walk all that way, because why need to when you don't have to? So that's pretty cool. Boom, boom. And these here are lights. They don't look like lights, but they are lights, and they're dotted all the way around the boat. Come with me down the starboard side and I'll just show you. This was waste out just here. There's another one over the other head, and then this is fuel in. So diesel, we have 2 tanks of 450 litres each, navigation lights, and we've got water in just here, and then we have shore power connection just there. I should have closed that door. So before we get there, let's just, okay, do that. Let's go down here, guys. So that's the garage. Through this hatch just here is our engine access. So I might have to grab the camera off you, Mika, and bring you guys with me. You just go down 3 steps, aluminium ladder, and into the engine bay. So come with me. There is enough space down here to move around and do your daily checks. That's one of your 2 fuel tanks just there. That's your Jenny mounted center line. Over to starboard is your other fuel tank. We've got the IPS 600s, D6s on this one. We also have blowers. We've got our hydraulics over to starboard. That is your drive unit just there. And just this is your hot water tank. And behind me is your fire buoy as well. So hopefully that gives you some perspective. So guys, that's the boat. I hope that was useful to you. But who do I believe is best suited to this boat? What's some competition, and who's perhaps not well suited to this boat? I believe the competition is the Riviera 4600 Sport Yacht, Azimut Atlantis, the 45, and the Sea Line C430. I've been on all of them. I've driven some of them. This Beneteau gives me a fantastic sense of openness. The practicality with this design, it gives me the vibe of people looking for a beach house on Sydney Harbour or whatever harbour you are. If you're the sort of person who leads a busy life, has young kids, and wants a fast boat that's no nonsense to go to a nice place like we are and enjoy your days, then this is going to be ideal. That drop-down platform, the facility or the ability to put the tender out there or inside the garage, these are all time savers. The doors out here, they're all time savers for you, and the ease of how it drives, which we're going to get to in a second. Who's it not good for? Perhaps people who want to do long distance cruising to the Whitsundays. Can it do it? Yes. Is it designed for it? No. I would probably pick the Riviera 4600 or one of my personal favourites, the Beneteau Swift Trawler 41. So if that's what you have in mind, I would actually look at those boats. But if you want to do sick Sydney Harbour day boating, maximise the short amount of time that you have, then get this thing. Like, it's going to do it really well for you. So if you are interested in this thing, we're going for a drive. You're invited. It's a separate video to this. I've popped the link up on the screen right now. Please click it. Don't forget to support the channel. I really appreciate every comment, every like. I read, I respond to as much of it as I can. Actually, I respond to all of it. Just give me time. Sometimes a bit slow. And please support the Patreon. I do appreciate that as well. You've been watching Dan's Boat Life. My name's Dan Jones. See you on the next one, guys.